Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Kylie's Book Quirks. Today I'm going to be talking with you about how I thought the Shadow and Bone books and Six of Crows compared to the Shadow and Bone Netflix TV series. As always, there are important links below in order to help Black Lives Matter, Indigenous peoples, and stop Asian hate. Also, I am now on Readerly, which is a reader-friendly alternative to Goodreads, which a lot of people believe has recently been taking a bit of a monopoly over the publishing and reading environment. I can't think of the word. But I am on there and my @ will be down below. So first off, I made a list of things I wanted to talk about. So as far as the show itself, overall, I think that it did a really good job of having the same essence and energy of the books, and as I was watching, I felt like I was reading the book, honestly, and I felt very excited and ecstatic. I am rewatching the series now, so I'm excited to see it again. As far as the production itself, I think the only thing I didn't like was the original posters they released and all the photos. That weird green tint that they had on it was a little whack. I don't know. But overall, the production value, I heard that the amount of money they had for production was low, but the production value I thought was really amazing. I did really enjoy the costumes, except for Nina's costume. I thought that she has this lace-up blouse, but it's not, I don't know, it's not very pleasing to the eye, or it doesn't really make sense. I'm not sure what they were going for with it, but the blouse didn't make sense. Everything else made sense. My favorite costume had to have been Inej's. I loved her costume and just all of her knives and everything. Her character's my favorite. So, and then there's also the settings I thought were really cool, especially when they were at the palace when the Darkling presents Alina to the king and queen. The palace was really cool. And then you also see a bit of Ketterdam, which was really cool. Ketterdam's set was really cool, especially when they were in the gambling halls. And then I'm gonna jump into characters. There will be spoilers, so if you have not read the books and have not seen the show and you don't want spoilers, I would recommend coming back to this video later. So overall, I think they did good with the characters. I think as far as Alina's character, hers was really good. I enjoyed her character, but I also think just because it is a TV show and they had a limited amount of time, you didn't get to see as much as her character depth or her background as she's learning at the little palace and learning with Baghra and making friendships and her struggles, which I think would have been interesting to see, but overall I still think they did really well with her. Then there's also the Darkling, which in the show, you know straight off his name's Alexander. His character, I think that Ben Barnes played a wonderful Darkling, but I also think that the writers themselves sort of, I guess in a way, watered him down. They don't portray him as evil as he is. I think that they could have showed more of his manipulativeness and his toxicity and how he's using people, but overall they really didn't. And then there was also Zoya, who is my favorite character. I love her, especially in King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, but instead of showing her as this strong character she is, I feel like they watered her down to just a jealous, manipulative girl who, wants the Darkling's attention. And so I think that, for me, was a little disappointing. I think that they need to recognize that, she was manipulated by the Darkling, and she's, been in that environment for years, and that's all she knows, and it's the only people she has. So, also, as far as, like, the Darkling, and just in the show, they said that Zoya and the Darkling had, like, an affair thing going on, which, for me, that was really weird. I was not expecting that, and it was strange for me in the sense that I don't know why they did that. Then one thing I really loved about the camera work and the portrayal of these characters is that it had much more of a feminine gaze, which, if you don't know what that is, it's putting more value on the feminine things compared to the masculine gaze, where you tend to have female characters being objectified and sexualized, and there isn't much complexity to them compared to the feminine gaze, which has more feminine characters. Not feminine, complex characters, I mean. Valuing the feminine, etc. So they had a lot more of that, and I really enjoyed seeing, there were a lot of scenes where I think in other media pieces you would have had the sexualization of women. For example, like when Elena takes a bath, or there's a couple of Inej's costumes that are more form-fitting, because, she's sneaking around Ketterdam. And then, the scene in the hut with Matthias and Nina. And I think that overall the camera work and the directors and producers did a good job with that. I was pleased with that. There's also, with Kaz's character, his was really good. I think Freddie Carter did a wonderful job. But he also, I think of the sense of the Darkling too, he seemed a lot less, his cruel, manipulative self. And I still think that Freddie Carter has the same essence as Kaz. It's just not as straight up violent as in the books, like when he threatens a pregnant woman and threatens to kill a child, and, just stuff like that. So overall, I really liked Freddie Carter's performance. And then as far as Jesper Fahey, I really enjoyed Kit Young. Kit Young did a wonderful job as Jesper, and I think he brought that sort of charismatic and flirtatious air to him that we all enjoy. I would like them to be more specific with Jesper's bisexuality. They didn't really make that clear. They made it clear that, like, he's gay, but not that he's bisexual, and I would have liked to see that. So, there's season 2, hopefully they do that. As far as Inej's character, I think Inej's was my favorite out of all of them, except for, there was one moment where she's talking with Tantaline, and it doesn't, I think, completely show everything that Inej has been through and how she's struggled, and, the fear she has of going back to the menagerie. But other than that, Amita Suman was the best actress for the role. I think she did a wonderful job of portraying Inej and her faith and her, feelings for Kaz and her growth as a person. And then, as far as other things, I really enjoyed Jenya, Nina, and Matthias. I would have loved to see more of them. Especially Jenya's character. I really enjoyed her character. She was in for a little bit in the early episodes, and then you don't see much of her later. And you see very little of David, which makes sense. I'm guessing we'll see more of them in season 2. I think the one other complaint I have with Jenya is, I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna talk about her sexual assault right now, so if you want to skip that, please go ahead. So as far as dealing with Jenya's sexual assault, I feel like they were very vague with what happened to her. She has a conversation with Alina in one of the earlier episodes about, how she had been sort of abused and sort of thrown into the bed of the king, and she learned just not to fight back, which I think that would have been a wonderful opportunity to be very vocal about that situation and show that even if you have been sexually abused or had something similar happen in the past, that you can still heal and grow and be strong like Jenya. And I would have loved to see more of that because that's such an important part of her character and it's such an important message, and I think it deserved a bit more screen time. And then there was also a racism subplot that was not in the books originally. Some other creators that I follow that are people of color that I've been listening to, I've heard two different viewpoints on it. One is that it really wasn't necessary, and there are some people who are not very, they don't like get why it happened, which I don't either. Like, I don't feel like it was necessary either. And then there are other people who feel like it was a good showcase of sort of internalized racism. So I think that overall, just listen to POC creators' voices, and that's just what I've heard and just sort of the opinion that I've formed after listening to their other opinions. So, yeah. And then we are hopefully going to get season 2. I've heard that this series has been like #1 in a whole ton of countries for a while now since it came out. So season 2, please. I would really love to see Nikolai and Wylan. Oh, and Tamar and Talia, please. And then I also have exciting news. At the time that I'm filming this video, I will be meeting the cast over Zoom on May 8th, which I'm super excited for. So hopefully it goes well. I would really love to meet Amita Suman. She's my absolute favorite. But I'm really excited about that. So anyways, let me know what you thought of the Shadow and Bone TV series. I would really love to hear you guys' opinions, and I will see more of you guys next time.